Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here on a Sunday. It is the 3rd of January. Happy New Year to you. Here to talk about the Miami Dolphins and the game that has just concluded in Buffalo against the Bills. Oh boy, guys, let's gonna get into this one, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of a light approach. It's been a good year, but I'll take it step by step here with you throughout this video. If you do like the content, of course, go ahead and hit that like button. It would definitely be appreciated by me, and it would certainly help out the channel. So guys, going into this game, we knew going in that the Dolphins had to get a win in order to get into this year's playoffs. A win definitely gets them in. Now, of course, if the Dolphins were not to win, which didn't happen, as we all know by now, then either the Browns, the Ravens, or the Indianapolis Colts had to lose. Either of those three teams lose, Dolphins are in. Not a bad deal. Considering you're going into Buffalo against one of the hottest teams in all of football, okay, let's see what happens. Take our chances. Well, guys, the big question coming in was, were the Bills going to rest a lot of their top players? And they kind of did. I mean, they wound up doing that in the second half. It's just that they got the Bills' A game in the first half, and that was enough, guys. I mean, that was more than enough to do in the Dolphins, as they would drop this one 56-26. And I'll tell you what, the score really wasn't even. I mean, yeah, they lost by 30 points. You know what? It seemed even worse than that. It really did. And I'm not going to just get too negative on this one particular game, because it has been a good season for the Dolphins. Plenty of growth for this team. I think Coach Brian Flores, if I had to pick an MVP for the Dolphins this season, I'm going with Coach Flores. If I'm allowed to choose a member of the coaching staff as my MVP, I think Coach Flores did an absolutely fantastic job with this team. Is Tua the answer moving forward? Guys, I think that's an unanswered question. Doesn't mean I'm saying no, he's not. I'm just saying right now, as the regular season has just concluded, that a lot of this and a lot of Tua's future with the Dolphins is going to depend on those first maybe, I'll say 5, 6, 7 games of the 2021 regular season. A lot is up in the air with Tua. I mean, he shows some good things, and I look at the stats. I mean, he threw for a bunch of yards, well over 300 yards, like 361 yards. But there's just a lot of moments, and I think you know what I'm talking about, where you're just kind of sitting there going, oh no, what's going to happen now? I mean, there's a lot of quick throws, a lot of underneath throws. I get it, that's a big part of today's game. But I am very neutral right now with Tua, but I remain optimistic moving into next year. And remember, this was just his rookie season. So guys, let's talk real quick before I get into the breakdown. I want to break down a little bit more of this game. Dolphins finished the regular season at 10-6. Now, the wins are fine. I didn't expect 10 wins. I was thinking maybe 8 wins would be a nice improvement. Dolphins get 10 wins. So you got to look at it for what it is. The Dolphins really did overachieve this season, playoffs or not. A 10-win season will usually get you in. This year has been a little different in a very, very competitive AFC. Now, as I discussed a few moments ago, the Dolphins needed any one of 3 teams to lose. Well, I'm unhappy to report that as I make this video, 2 of those 3 teams have already won, and that is the Browns have defeated the Ben Roethlisberger-less Steelers, who did not play Ben in this game. Along with the Ravens, absolutely dismantled the Cincinnati Bengals, which leaves us with one more hope, one more possibility for the Dolphins to get into the playoffs. That particular game is just getting underway as I make this video, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars come in 14-point underdogs. They have lost 14 games in a row. That's right. They are probably ranked as the worst team in the National Football League at this stage as we head into the final game of the season. Now that the red hot New York Jets, who had won 2 in a row, not sure exactly how that game ended up with the Patriots. It'd be interesting to see that. But the Jets kind of caught fire at the end in a way. But the Jaguars, interestingly enough, the Jaguars' only win was against the Colts, believe it or not. And that was a home game for the Jaguars in Jacksonville. And that was the big problem with that. That was in week 1, guys. So that they've lost 14 in a row. But yes, let me just take a moment and just say to you guys that if the Jaguars were to pull off the upset of the year, the Miami Dolphins would be in the playoffs. That's a definite. Now we just have to see it happen. So cheer on those Jaguars, guys. If you're watching this and that particular game is still going on, I have a feeling most of you, by the time you see this video, that game will be over. But hey, it's all good fun. So just wish for the best for the Dolphin playoff hopes. But guys, as I said, it has been a successful season. Coach Flores has got to be here to stay. I think if there's one person that, because we're so naturally almost inclined to go players first, like who's here to stay, who's the quarterback, who's this, who's that. I think as a big positive, the one person that we want to see here to stay with the Miami Dolphins is Coach Brian Flores. I am a big fan. I like a lot of his moves. I love the way he turned this team around this year. And I'll take that into the offseason, even though, like many of you out there, many of you Dolphin fans, we haven't seen the team win a playoff game since the year 2000. That's a long, long, long time ago, guys. And there have just been a few, like very few, short-lived playoff appearances. So, guys, let's get into the breakdown of this one. The Bills looked really good, by the way. The Bills look primed and ready for the postseason. Josh Allen would only play in the first half. He would go 18 of 25 for 224 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's almost like a full game of stats in just the first half. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked once. Matt Barkley played the second half, played pretty good. Threw for a pretty good amount of yards. He threw for 164 yards in the second half with a touchdown and an interception. He would go 6 out of 13. Antonio Williams ran the ball pretty well for the Bills. 12 carries, 63 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Zach Moss, 3 carries, 8 yards. Devin Singletary, 3 carries, 7 yards. He wasn't a big factor in this one, was Devin Singletary. I've seen him play really well in the past, also in the past against the Dolphins. Allen, from the quarterback position, would carry the ball twice for 3 yards. Isaiah McKenzie, 2 carries, no yards. Barkley was credited with 3 carries, minus 3 yards, but that's when he's in the victory formation, kneeling on the to run out the clock. So they really, and I've said this before, they really shouldn't count that. Excuse me, they shouldn't count that for statistics, in my humble opinion. Receivers, you had Gabriel Davis, 107 yards receiving and a touchdown on only 2 catches. Stephon Diggs, his really strong season continues, 7 catches, 76 yards. John Brown had 4 catches, 72 yards and a touchdown. He always hurts the Dolphins, this John Brown, it seems. Isaiah McKenzie had a really nice game, 6 catches, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dawson Knox contributed 2 catches, 29 yards. Antonio Williams, that would be out of the backfield, had 1 reception for 20 yards. Zach Moss, a reception for 13 yards. Devin Singletary, a reception for 6 yards. For the Dolphins, a lot of the numbers were kind of padded in garbage time at the end, guys. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I mean, that's kind of how it worked out. But Tua, nonetheless, did throw for a bunch of yards. 35 out of 58. 361 yards, a touchdown. 3 interceptions. Tua was intercepted 3 times. He was sacked once. So was Josh Allen, was also sacked once. Bowden Jr. gets in the act again. This is like at least the 3rd or 4th game in a row, I think, where he has thrown a pass 1 out of 1 for 32 yards. They have him on the gadget plays and all that stuff now. I like it. Salvin Ahmed, 6 carries, 29 yards and a touchdown. I mean, the Dolphins, because we down by a ton of points most of this game, really didn't run the football that much. But I'll tell you what, the Dolphins in the last few weeks of the season, in terms of average yards per carry, have shown improvement. The running game, specifically Salvin Ahmed, looked better as the season would progress. And really, in those, as I mentioned, those last few weeks, something to look forward to for next year, perhaps. And Ahmed could be the back of the future. Let's see what happens there. Tua added 6 carries, 28 yards. Myles Gaskin, 7 carries, 20 yards and a touchdown. Bowden Jr., 1 carry, -7 yards. Devontae Parker, this was the first strong Devontae game with Tua behind center. As you recall, Devontae was at like easy all-pro status to start the season, and then something happened where him and Tua, and I'm not blaming one or the other in this one, but him and Tua were just not connecting. They did today, though, so that was a really good sign. Of course, Devontae was battling injuries to the second half of the season, so we have to keep that in mind. But Devontae would finish 7 catches, 116 yards. Gaskin out of the backfield was a good contributor with 4 catches, 57 yards. Mike Gesicki, 5 catches, 47 yards. Bowden Jr. would have 8 catches for 44 yards. Isaiah Ford, 3 catches, 37 yards. Malcolm Perry had 1 catch. It was a 25-yard touchdown reception there, way late in the game, but it was a very nice play down the right sideline. Durham Smythe, 3 catches, 23 yards. Adam Shaheen had a catch for 22 yards. Salvin Ahmed, out of the backfield, 3 catches. That's for 19 yards, guys. And then we had Matt Collins, who had 1 catch for 3 yards, and he had a fumble lost. So, guys, let's see what happens. Season isn't over just yet as I make this video. Now, if for some crazy reason the Jaguars figure out a way to beat the Colts on the road in Indianapolis, I'll have to do I'll come back, I'll do some sort of playoff preview deal for you guys later in the week, Friday or Saturday. But as I said, I'm being the most optimistic I could be. It's just not looking good right now, guys. It's just not looking good. But hey, that's why they play the games, and that's why they're all professionals, and we'll see what happens, everyone. But nonetheless, worst case scenario, if it's no playoffs this year for the Dolphins, it's been not only an interesting season, it's been a fun season. A year where the team has won 10 games, and a year where there is some momentum going into next year. And we know we got a coach in Brian Flores. So, guys, for now, this is Dennis Sullivan here, Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. Look forward to seeing you soon. Leave me a comment, too. What do you think? Give me some thoughts here, thoughts of the future for this team. And that would be very interesting. I'd like to see some comments on this one, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.